Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today our group will present to you the topic sulfuric acid in pulp and paper industry. Okay, the learning outcome that from our presentation is to learn about sulfuric acid and how it was made, and second, to study the use of acid sulfuric in pulp and paper industry, and third, to know about the product of sulfuric acid in pulp and paper industry. I will pass to another presenter.
So, Assalamualaikum. My name is Syarah Nujana and I'll be explaining about what is sulfuric acid. So, firstly, sulfuric acid is also known as oil of vitriol, which is a mineral acid composed of elements sulfur, oxygen, and hydrogen with molecular formula H2SO4. It is a colorless, odorless, and viscous liquid that is soluble in water and is synthesized in reactions that are highly exothermic. So the acid's corrosiveness towards other materials can be mainly described due to its strong acidic nature, and even at high concentration, it's dehydrating alongside oxidizing properties. It is also hygroscopic, which is readily absorbing water vapor from the air. So hygroscopic is actually a phenomenon of attracting and holding water molecules through absorption. Upon contact, sulfuric acid can cause severe chemical burns and even secondary thermal burns due to dehydration. It is very dangerous even at lower concentration. So as you know, sulfuric acid is a very dangerous chemical which is extremely corrosive and toxic. So exposure can occur from inhalation, ingestion, and through skin contact. Inhalation of H2SO4 may cause irritation or chemical burns to the respiratory tract, nose, and throat. So next, we'll see the sulfuric acid are available in many grades. So as you can see, for diluted sulfuric acid, the mass fraction is 29% and below, and the concentration is the lowest among all of these. And the highest is concentrated sulfuric acid with mass fraction 98.3% and the concentration is 18.4. So for these chemical properties, this is for your information. There are four. First is reaction with water and dehydrating property, and you can see that is the equation. And for acid-base properties, you can see this is the chemical equation. And then that reaction with metals, reaction with carbon, and lastly reaction with sodium chloride. So that's all from me, and I'll pass it to Tasnim. Thank you.
So, Assalamualaikum and good evening, everyone. So, my name is Noalia Tasnim, and I'm going to be presenting to you guys about how sulfuric acid is made. So, do you guys know that sulfuric acid can be made naturally by the oxidation of sulfate mineral? Sulfate minerals, for example, is iron sulfide, cinnabar with mineral of mercury, and galena is the mineral for lead and silver. So now you guys know that it can be made naturally, but do you guys know that sulfuric acid can also be made by mankind with the help of contact process? So what exactly is contact process? Contact process is the process of obtaining sulfuric acid by the help of oxygen, sulfur itself, water, and the help of vanadium pentoxide as a catalyst. So I will explain to you guys step by step how sulfuric acid will be made by the help of contact process. So by this contact process, so first of all, it will begin with sulfur dioxide. This SO3, SO2 will be combined with oxygen and will be producing SO3 by the burning of molten sulfur in the presence of oxygen, which is air. So the sulfur trioxide then will be transferred to a tower called observation tower and will be combined with water to produce sulfuric acid. So before this happen, which is sulfur trioxide combined with water, there will be a combination of SO3 with vanadium pentoxide, which is a catalyst. So what this catalyst do is it will be lowering the energy activation, so more sulfuric acid can be produced. So actually this process is already be simplified by me, and so you guys will be understand because a sulfuric acid, this contact process actually take a more long time to be explained. So let's move on to the next slide. So this is what I explained to you guys earlier. So the sulfur will be go through a furnace with the presence of air, oxygen, and the sulfur, the molten sulfur will be combined with oxygen and then will be converted to a converter which contain the presence of vanadium oxide as a catalyst, and then it will convert to SO3. This SO3 then will combine with water here, and sulfur acid will be obtained. So as you can see, it is more complex, and I just simplify it to make it more understandable. So actually, other than contact process, there is more other process that can be used to obtain sulfuric acid, such as wet sulfuric acid process, lead chamber process, and some more other process. But what I explained to you guys about contact process, because contact process is more widely used in pulp and industry, pulp and paper industry. So that's why I explained to you guys about this.
Okay, now I will continue with my part, which is how acid sulfuric is used in pulp paper industry. Okay, next page. Okay, sulfur is an essential chemical element in pulp paper production, as it was used in the process of producing pulp. Next page. Next slide. Okay, sulfuric acid is used in the pulp paper industry for tall ice splitting and pH adjustment. So now I will describe or explain more about pH adjustment. Okay, pH adjustment. Okay, in the alkaline digestion process that transform wood into cellulosic fibers is to produce tissue production, and in this process it requires the strong pH condition which the acid sulfuric acid was added to make the condition become the strong pH. And in this process is very important to remove lignin and the other colored substances or pigment. Okay, in the following phases of paper production require a stable and almost neutral pH value. So that's why acid sulfuric is used for pH adjustment in the pulp paper production. Next slide. Okay. Okay. Acid sulfuric was added to remove the water, which we call white water. In this process, to control the quality of the paper, and this will differentiate the difference between thin toilet paper from strong printing paper. That's why acid sulfuric was used in the pulp paper industry. And after that, in addition of sulfuric acid for pH adjustment, this pH control or pH adjustment is important as the correlation line to secure the chemical reaction and optimize reagent consumption. And reliable pH adjustment in tolls oils require automatic cleaning. And in this process, the acid sulfuric was added to allow efficient leaching at pH 3.5 to 4 pH without degrading the cellulose components. And at extraction stage are conducted at pH 10 to 11, and this is why acid sulfuric is used for the pH adjustment. As example, from if it's too if it's too alkali, or it's too alkali, so they will add the acid sulfuric so that the pH is suitable for the process to be continued. So now I will pass to the next presenter.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Shaira, and now I will continue about the use of sulfuric acid in toy oil splitting and the making of parchment paper. Okay, so we start with toy oil splitting. Okay, toy oil is a liquid resin or talent. It's a yellow black odorous liquid that obtained as a byproduct of the craft process of wood palm manufacture when pulping mainly coniferous trees. Okay, for all the name origin as an anglization of the Sugita Loja or pine oil. Okay, we usually hear it, pine oil. Okay. So oil is the third largest chemical byproduct in a craft mill after lignin and hemicellulose. Okay. So as you in this picture, this is toy oil, and this is also tall oil. Okay, now I will proceed with the explanation of toy oil. Okay. So first of all, in craft process, we use high alkalinity and temperature to convert the acid and carboxylic acid in rosin into soluble sodium soap of lignin, rosin, and fatty acids. Okay, then it will produce the black liquor. Okay, the black liquor is a spent cooking liquor. Okay, this black liquor is concentrated in a multiply effect evaporator and become intermediate liquor. Okay, so from the intermediate liquor, it can form a soap. Okay, so the soap, it will start to flow in the storage tank for the weak or intermediate liquor, and then it will produce the collected soap. Okay, so the collected soap is called raw rosin soap and or rosinate. Okay, next, the raw rosin soap then allowed to settle or convert to release as much as possible, so that as much as possible of the internet black liquor. Okay, then the soap goes then to accelerator where it is heated and acidified with sulfuric acid to produce crude tall oil. Okay, so the use of sulfuric acid in toy oil splitting is from the soap. The soap is heated and acidified with sulfuric acid. Then the sulfuric acid will produce crude tall oil. So this is the crude tall oil is the final process. Is the final product which use the sulfuric acid. Okay. Okay, next we will continue about the sulfuric acid used in the manufacture of parchment paper. Okay, parchment paper is usually used in baking, and it is we use in oven use. Okay, so the first step to make parchment paper is made by placing a water leaf made of wood pulp fibers into a sulfuric acid bath. Okay, the water leaf is made the unsized paper like brochures. Okay, so from this step, The sulfuric acid will hydrolyze and solubilize the main substance present in the food fibers. Okay, that means the sulfuric acid, we use it to hydrolyze the main substance. The main substance is the cellulose, so it will hydrolyze the cellulose in these food pulp fibers. Okay, so after this step, then the water leaf it was washed in the water and stop the hydrolysis. So from this process, it will cause a kind of cellulose coating to form on the water leaf. The last step is the final paper is dry and the coating is a natural non-porous cement. So the parchment paper it has a coating. So the coating it will resist to moisture and grease, and it is semi-translucency.
So hi guys, so we meet again. So I'm going to explain about product of sulfuric acid. So do you guys know that sulfuric acid can make various things? So you know that the paper that you guys been using all this time is actually made of sulfuric acid. Not only that, tissue is made of pulp and pulp is made of sulfuric acid. So let's take a guess what this next picture is about. So, right, this is about tea filter bag. This tea filter bag that you guys been using for drinking tea is actually made of palm, and the palm is made of sulfuric acid. So, sulfuric acid is made for various things, especially in pulp and paper industry.
That's all from us. Thank you for watching.